everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor and today we'll be doing my worst books of the year. Let's get going. So I honestly didn't think I had that much of a bad book reads. I think I have like about an 8 or 9, give or take. And so honestly, not too bad I would say. So let's find out what they are. My first book is Disappearing Earth by Julia Phillips. One August afternoon on the shoreline of the northeastern edge of Russia, two sisters are abducted. In the ensuing weeks, then months, the police investigation turned up nothing. Echoes of the disappearance reverberate across the tightly woven community, with the fear and loss felt most deeply among its women. So yeah, I actually DNF'd this book at 90% and gave it 2 stars. The book was honestly slow. And nothing much was happening, like the dad was always talking about the experiences at the 2 ghosts, but there was no investigations about it, despite what the bosses had said. Quite literally, there was like no investigations. And it only had people gossiping about it. The writing was okay, but could have been better since sometimes it was awkward at times, and sometimes I didn't like how it jumped from month to month because it didn't really work. And none of the stories quite matched, and didn't really do anything as well. And like I remember the characters being so awful. Like they were just kind of immature, kind of quick to judge as to what's happening. So honestly, I'm not really too impressed with this book. So last year was kind of an interesting read because I took a shot at reading romance, which I hated it. There's actually a whole blog about it, and the book was Typically Yours by Denise Williams. 7 years ago, he fell in love with a stranger he couldn't have. Today, she's back in his life, and the sparks between them threatened to set her career on fire. So I gave this 2.5. So I really did not like this book at all. Like honestly, they were just bad. They were just okay, like the characters, honestly, they were okay. But I found this story to be quite boring, and the romance didn't really seem to have any chemistry. I also don't think some of the stuff they did was professional, since the relationship almost got exposed, and I think it actually did. Spoilers, sorry. I think the relationship actually did got exposed, since I remember one of them, or 2 of them, got quit the jobs or something like that. But yeah, I didn't really like the time jump because it just kind of made it harder to know what was going on, that I just didn't think there was high enough stakes in the book for me to care about. But honestly, the beginning was really promising, so that was kind of like a letdown for me, so oh well, what can you do? My next book is Belle by Lisa Mia Smith. So this is inspired by the Moulin Rouge, set on an island in a magical version of Prohibition era New York. So this is like full of dazzling magic, romance, and mystery. And I gave this a 2 stars. I thought the book sounded really interesting, and it didn't really live up to expectations, unfortunately. So I don't know, it was kind of cool to read something from the Prohibition era, which I think was like from the 30s, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think it's from the 30s. But I'd like to read something about Moulin Rouge, so that's why I picked it up, because it has been inspired by Moulin Rouge. And honestly, it just fell flat. There wasn't much world building, and the characters could have been more fleshed out. And the pace was also slow. I only really liked the magic system, and how each of the families have specific magic ability. I thought that was really cool. But unfortunately, like the book itself didn't really give off the Prohibition vibe. Like it could have been done a little bit better, since I kind of felt like the book was too modern for it to be in those ages, so it didn't really work quite well, unfortunately. And my next book is Midnight Strikes by Zeba Shanaz. So this is a time loop twist. A provincial girl must work with a roguish prince to stop an attack on the royal family and escape a nightmarish curse that forces them to relive the same night again and again. And boy, did they ever. So yeah, I gave this a 2 star. I actually did not finish at 290 pages. It was really annoying. Like while the synopsis sounded really promising, the execution wasn't it. Like I feel like doing time loops is just so hard to do, because you can't help but write the same thing over and over again, so you yourself are basically stuck in the same loop as your characters are. But honestly, this one just really felt flat, and honestly, because of that, it just felt repetitive, and Anais was pretty dramatic and everything felt exaggerated, which I hated the most. This book shouldn't be this long, but like the chapter titles, I kind of find it really interesting. So yeah, the only thing that I found interesting was like the chapter titles, and that was probably it. And I'm not quite sure how the metric system worked, and probably never got explained, but like, I wouldn't know since I never finished the book, and honestly I don't want to go back to it, so that's that. My next book was What Monster Is Gone by Rosamund Hodge. Centuries ago, the heretic sorcerer and raised the Deadly Briar among Mordecai's palace, casting the royal family into enchanted sleep and silencing the kingdom's gods. When born with the miraculous gift, Leah's destiny is to kill Reuben and wake the royals, but when she succeeds, she finds her duties not yet complete. For now, she must marry the royal family and forge a pact with God or die. Honestly, I found this book really too weird. Like, there was some what the F moments in that book, definitely. And the way how the main character was like, kind of executing her plot, because, you know, as she said, she has to kill the prince. It was just so bizarre, and like, it can't be that easy, is it? So, I can never if I finished the book or not. I must have, because I haven't written DNF, but I must have finished the book, so whatever. Yeah, so like, I don't know, but like at the same time, everything seemed to be like really repetitive, and they all asked the same questions, such as if Leah believes the Nia Anna, which I think that was the saint in the book. I'm not really sure if I understood Leah and her relationship with monsters gods, and then when Reuben, spoilers, but even it's not really spoilers, it's literally in the synopsis, but when Reuben got killed, everyone woke up after 500 years of sleeping, and there were like no consequences at all. Honey, the math ain't nothing. Like, how did you have no consequences after sleeping for that many years? Come on. Also, how did they woke up? And they were just told they were awake through Leah's memories after a time jump. So that part also wasn't explained at all. And how was the queen able to function after 500 years of sleeping? That's what really threw me off. I'm like, damn, that queen must have some powers, because are you able to function after 500 years of sleeping? I ain't, I'll be dead. So, how was she able to do it? But like, yeah, and there were no mentions of changes after the 500 years of sleeping. Like, quite literally no changes, and everything's supposed to be all the same. So, yeah, the world building wasn't really fleshed out, and like the whole environment and all that stuff. And so, yeah, and like with the whole star story not being there, it's a little bit confusing, again, spoilers. So how was he able to talk to Leah after he got murdered? I'm assuming it was like telepathic. That's the only way I can explain it, but yeah. But there was like just no chemistry and no whatsoever. And like the whole the belief system should have been more fleshed out. I actually find that part really interesting. So I wish the author had fleshed out more of the belief system, like with the saints and stuff. But yeah, I don't know, the book was just being bizarre than normal. And it was a Sleeping Beauty inspired retell. So that's why it gave me that kind of feel. My next book is The Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. A dream ghost trip to a luxury French chateau involves the deadly nightmare of secrets and murder. And I gave this a 2.5. So, I think the author was trying to do too much. There was murder, cancer, financial troubles, illegitimate children, Holocaust, large inheritance, so on and so forth. And honestly, I think it's just too much. I really think she should have stuck with the murder, especially since that's like kind of the main point of the book. Like, yeah, she was trying to explain why a murder was necessary, but it got a little bit too carried away. So, yeah. And honestly, like the grammar say, I have something to tell you, and almost every single chapter was getting tedious, so that gotta go. Honestly, that whole thing gotta go. And the worst part was she never said what she was going to say. That's like the worst thing ever. So they kinda had to like figure it out as to what she was gonna say. So that was annoying. Yeah, honestly, I didn't, like, there was a scene that was, like, two girls were chilling inside, they were talking, and, like, OMG, one of the murderers in the house. I think they haven't done anything, they were just lying in the grass, wasting the time. I'm like, if you know there's a potential murderer in the house, why aren't you not doing anything so, like, laying on the grass? That was so bizarre. I don't know, that just seemed honestly silly. Like, they could have called for help or something. And honestly, I thought there was also, like, too many paths, and it's kind of hard to keep up what's happening. I also thought there wasn't enough suspense in the book, but the only thing I did like was the setting and the atmosphere, so the whole thing really could have been better. And my next book is The House of Last Resort by Christopher Golden. Across Italy, there are many half-empty towns, nearly abandoned by those who migrate to the coast or to cities. The beautiful crumbling hilltop town of Virginia is among them, but its mayor has taken drastic measures to rebuild, selling abandoned homes to anyone in the world for a single euro, as long as the buyer promises to live there for at least 5 years. It's a no-brainer for American couple Tommy and Kate Puglisi. Both work remotely, and Virginia is the home of Tommy's grandparents, his closest living relatives. It feels like a romantic adventure and opportunity the young couple could be crazy not to seize, but from the moment they move in, they both feel a shadow has fallen on them. Tommy's grandmother is furious, even a little frightened when she realizes which house they have bought. Idea enough at 98 pages. I couldn't really get into it if I felt bored and the book was really slow. I only like the creepy scenes and the creepy house. I think the dialogue could have been better. And I didn't really like Tommy and Kate. They were at a party talking about the same thing all over again. There were actually quite a lot of repetitive dialogues in the book, so that could have been better. The whole dynamic of the family felt weird. Tommy's daughter kept yelling at Tommy to speak in English, even though Tommy knew some Italian, so I'm like, which one do you want him to speak in? So it was annoying. And like the way how she kept saying, no, don't go in that house, and they're like, why? And she never said anything about it. So that also could have not been done better. I just found it tedious that way. And yeah, and that was like also not really acting like they have a new life for Tommy and Kate. But yeah. And then honestly, the whole thing with the grandma, when Marcella tried to explain the history to Tommy and Kate about the house, the grandma got mad, so like, it was just really infuriating to see her act that way. But yeah, I kind of lost enjoyment on the book because of it, so yeah, it was quite annoying to read about the grandma. And my next one is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. Often there's a handmaid in the Republic of Gilead. She may leave the home of the commander and his wife once a day to walk to food markets whose signs are now pictures instead of words because women are no longer allowed to read. She must lie on her back once a month and pray that the commander makes her pregnant. Because in an age of declining births, Orphan and the other handmaids are valued only if their ovaries are viable. Orphan can remember the years before when she lived and made love with her husband, Luke, when she played with and protected her daughter when she had a job, money of her own, and access to knowledge. But all of that is gone now. So idea left at 214 pages. This was honestly a struggle to finish. There was no explanations for anything. We were only given when we were really into the story, and that's when basically the explanations came in. The main character found her to be blonde. The plot was uneventful for a book to be in the 80s and almost felt a little bit too modern. I think the book was set in the 80s. But like again, it just felt a little bit modern, the writing felt basic, and I also want to explore the world of the women and babies, but there was just very little world building and I want to know more about it just because it seemed quite fascinating to hear more, but we never got really full explanations on anything. And my next book was honestly quite disappointing too, but I should have known better from the first book. That's Mindless Things by Chloe Gong. I know I should have learned my lesson from book 1, but I didn't. So it's on me. Yay! Kalia Tulami has succeeded in the impossible. Despite the odds, she has won Sandra's bloody games and eliminated King Kasa, her tyrant uncle and a former ruler of Talmud. She serves now as a royal advisor to Kasa's adopted son August Sensi, who has risen to the throne. Only kinda knows it isn't really August. So yeah, I DNF'd at 64% and it gave 2 stars. It was so boring. Like literally nothing happened, and like I was already at 64% and nothing happened. Like quite literally nothing happened. So nothing was explained and got me confused. The romance is bad. It could have been used more attention and more chemistry. The book was just so slow. It dragged on and the characters' motives were quite unclear, and the odd thing about this is that half this world has phones, internet, and a camera, while you're still having a horse and a carriage. Make it make sense. Decide whichever you want to be in and stick with it. Don't mix up one out of two. No, it doesn't work like that. And the romance between Clea and Actor was nothing. There was quite really no chemistry. There was obsession, but no build-up. I just kept seeing this as a trilogy and maybe duology depending on what the ending is, but I don't think I'd see it as a trilogy because I think there's actually a 3rd book coming out, but I don't know when she's going to go on with it. So, it sucks. And my last book, which I probably complain about way too much, that is 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. The year is 1984 and the city is Tokyo. A young woman named Aomama follows a taxi driver's enigmatic suggestion and begins to notice puzzling discrepancies in the world around her. She has entered, she realizes, a parallel existence which she calls 1Q84. Q is for question mark, a world that bears a question. Meanwhile, an aspiring writer named Tango takes on as a suspect for the ghostwriting project. He becomes so wrapped up with the work and his unusual author that soon his previously proud still life begins to come unraveled. And so, yeah, I gave 2 stars DNF at 342 pages. I did not like this book at all. I was so tired of Anomami repeating how small her breasts are and the organisms that she has to work throughout the book, and the author kept overly explaining and everything, and it wasn't really necessary to explain things. And there was too much repetitiveness, and the plot was thin, and the book was way too slow. I only kind of liked Tango's storyline, even though it also, because it was really boring. Funiki didn't really provide much character despite trying to be mysterious. I did want more about the little people since that was mentioned, but because I couldn't finish the book, I'm not sure if they were ever mentioned again. And that's all the books I had read last year for my worst books. So yeah, there's actually quite a little few of them, which honestly is surprising. I think I'm actually kind of lifting up my, no, I don't like this kind of thing, but I'm still giving stuff 2 stars regardless. I'm sticking true to my reading. But yeah, let me know what your worst books are, and please like, comment, subscribe, so you'll be notified every time I post, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!